I got bitten in the face by an ant, and I think the YouTube peeps can see it. I think it has faded now,
Yeah.
but I will post a
It's
picture
a
on
little. What's the word? I don't know. It's a little blown.
Okay, yeah. So I'll post a picture on our Instagram, and I am
Yeah.
calling it Cersei because
Cersei?
because
Yeah.
it's a hateful creature.
Oh.
And if you have
Yeah.
suggestions, name suggestions, then let us know.
Hello, Sasi.
So yeah, welcome
Yeah.
back to the channel.
Hello.
I say channel because we are on YouTube too,
Yeah.
but welcome back to the pod and the YouTube channel. Which again, if you haven't listened to our last episode, then we are now on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we are so excited that you can see our faces. And yeah, we are here with another creepy episode. This week was a week, guys. It was
a struggle.
It's Do you wanna start and then I'll
Yeah. A cyclone hit us.
yeah.
Yeah. It was really terrible.
It was so terrible. Now we have been in similar situations before. There were a few cyclones which were going to hit our area,
Yeah.
but they didn't. So we had never seen anything like it before. So it was really like groundbreaking and shocking for us to go through that. So our locality and our building is actually, it's not extremely close to a water body,
Yeah.
but the water body is not too far either.
Yeah.
So the winds were so freaking harsh.
Yeah.
A grill fell, a window grill, which is like so scary.
All the trees fell.
Yeah, so many
almost
trees.
all.
Yeah. It was a huge disaster, and yeah, if you were living in an area which was affected by this cyclone that hit Mumbai, India, and Gujarat and some of the other western states,
Karnataka.
then we send love and wishes to you, well wishes to you, because we hit close to home. There was like no electricity for 2 days straight.
We were going mad.
Yeah, we were going a little mad by the end of it. So yeah, that was basically what our week was. Again, internet today also was so slow.
Not good.
Yeah, not good. So we don't know when the situation will probably be all right in the next coming days, but we are hoping for the best. So that was our week. Thanks for listening to our little rant. And yeah, again, so we have our story from the book. What's the book?
Ghost of the Silent Hills.
Yeah. We are narrating stories from this book. Again, if you haven't listened to the last episode, you probably won't get the first section or segment of this episode. So you should go back and listen to that. And let's give a little recap. Do you even remember?
I think.
So there's this new principal who principal couple.
Yeah, principal couple. Principal couple.
Principal and his wife. Okay. So the writer's dad is shifting away. He's being transferred from
to Shimla.
Yeah.
Has been.
And he is being replaced by the Kulkarnis, and they have just
entered.
Landed in this
area.
cottage, this area. And Mrs. Kulkarni was actually quite happy, pleased. And now they have started to feel a little like
she's the little scared.
spooked. So we are going to continue. Let's begin. This was like a huge, very long intro. It's alright. Okay. So they spent the entire day. Now this is after dinner.
Okay.
After dinner, the couple retired to the cottage as the long journey and the hectic activities of the day had worn them out. Also because Mrs. Kulkarni was like going
Yeah.
giggling and going skipping around the area, so she probably is like so tired. I don't know how she got all that energy because I can't. They went to bed around 10 and the long day's tiredness immediately overtook their conscious minds. Sometime at midnight, oh my gosh,
Oh.
Mrs. Kulkarni woke up with a jolt. Something had woken her up from her deep sleep. She couldn't be sure of what it was. There was absolute stillness around. The only sound she could hear was coming through the window of I burped, so we're not going to cut that out. This is very, again,
Normal.
very, yeah, real podcast. Through the window of rustling of leaves in a mild breeze. She had never in her entire life experienced such intense silence where one could even hear the sound of a soft breeze. Well, we just experienced something similar, but the sound of the breeze was not mild. Though she had a hunch that it was a louder sound that had woken her up, someone had spoken to her almost into her ears.
Oh my god.
An angry voice.
Oh no no.
Maybe it was a dream, which they
I
think,
don't think so.
but they aren't. Her husband suddenly muttered in his sleep. He then began thrashing his arms around, trying to lash out at something. That was strange. In their married life of 14 years, he had never done that. She sat up, alarmed. Honey, what's wrong? She asked tenderly, but then he calmed down. He was probably very tired and anxious about his new job. Dismissing her anxiety as needless and not wanting to disturb him, she softly got out of her bed and go to the bathroom.
Oh.
She switched on a small torch that she had kept on the bedside table. As she neared the bathroom door, she felt something brush past her. Oh, I don't like this. Distinctly. Someone had been in her way, and as she approached the bathroom door, it had moved to a side to let her pass.
My god. This ghost is very scary and very
Oh my god.
vocal.
Yeah. In the torchlight, she tried to pry around. Perhaps a cat had got inside the cottage.
How?
We are just
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
find a rational reason, but she's not being successful, I guess. Wondering at the strange sensation, she went to use the toilet. She was still inside when she heard her husband's annoyed voice telling someone not to trouble him.
Oh my god.
Who was he speaking to? She hurried back. This time she decided to switch on the table lamp. She should have done in the first place. Mr. Kulkarni was wide awake. He chided her for pulling at his blanket and now switching on the lights.
Oh.
What's wrong with you? I'm tired. I have plenty of work to do in the morning. He grumbled. She opened her mouth to explain, but he persisted. I deserved to be allowed some decent sleep. He then pulled the blanket over his face and turned his back towards her. Okay, he's being a little dramatic.
Yeah.
Mrs. Kulkarni was surprised at this unjustified taking off. I mean, obviously,
obviously.
anyone would. She hadn't even ventured near his bed. Annoyed, she switched off the light and slipped into her bed. I would have pushed the husband. He would have to sleep on the couch for that night. The moment the cold darkness returned to the room, she distinctly heard some faint sounds. There was something in the cottage.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. Could be a cat, she reiterated her thought. But why would it pull at her husband's blanket? She couldn't sleep anymore. The penetrating silence began to get on her nerves. Perhaps accepting this posting at such an isolated place was not a good idea. Well, yeah, it wasn't. But then they had no idea it would be so desolate. She mused in the deadly silence of the night. She closed her eyes and tried to sleep. Creak! The bathroom door groaned at the hinges. I hate when doors start banging. I hate that. I cannot stand it. It's so scary. Her eyes flew wide open. Her heart jumped against her ribs. I was about to burp again. She had shut the door just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
She turned to check on her husband, still with his back towards her. He was packed in his blanket and blissfully asleep. That's it. Recording this after dinner was not a good idea. Anyways, where was I? This is so frustrating. She turned her head towards the door. Her heartbeat stopped. Ima! It was wide open now. Someone was standing there, facing her. Faint moonlight seeping through the curtains of the room revealed a flimsy womanish figure in a glowing dress.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, women. Last story
was
was
the same ghost?
I have no idea, but the last story that we narrated had like so many women ghosts, and here we have another one. Oh my god, so but no more sound would emerge from her throat. She began to shake frantically. Was she dreaming? She shut and opened her eyes. The spectre was gone.
Yeah.
She had perceived two frightful eyes, two dark holes staring at her, chilling her to her bones. But now a black hollowness inside a rectangle frame of the open door just stared back at her. Who was she? Did I really see someone? Or was it just my imagination? My god, I am going mad in this isolation.
It's just one day and she's going mad.
Yeah. Then sounds from outside began to trickle in, faint and feeble. They were sounds of the tables being laid and some distinct voices. Distinct voices. She heard clinking of glasses followed by more sounds in unison, like some toast being offered. There were more indistinct noises, and after that the next sound was absolutely clear. Someone said, Bera chai lao, which translates to Bera, bring tea.
Chai.
Yeah, I need chai. A woman's voice followed, Bera idhar aao. So Bera seems like some kind of a servant, I feel like. Idhar aao translates to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sound of faint laughter could be heard now. The voices had a distinct British accent.
I want to know the history of this place.
There must be something like
British.
Yeah. Perhaps these two people are closest to the cottage. Nevertheless, the sounds were soothing to her ears. At least there was some human company. She could now hear waltz music in the distance. Then she heard a male voice, Daphne, dance with me.
Daphne?
Like, it brings me back to Bridgerton, which we could make like a complete hate episode about that show. It was so bad.
Yeah.
We couldn't get through it. Anyways, moving on. I think we should go a poll. Do you like Bridgerton or not?
Yeah,
On
I will
Instagram.
put that on.
Yeah. Her mind began to work in a different direction. She was sure that some party was going on from which
Yeah.
she and her husband had been excluded.
I don't think they are real people.
Of course they are.
Because
Yeah.
Daphne is a old name. I don't
Yeah, good
think
point.
anybody
Would
is
name.
named like yeah.
They can, but it still feels in the hilly areas. It seems. Anyways, that upset her. When she was at dinner, no one had mentioned a lake party to be held here, not even a hint. Who were these people? She had spent almost the entire day here and hadn't seen any foreigners. She couldn't contain herself and voiced her opinion loudly to her husband and woke him up again. Dear, there's a party going on outside. I know, I hear them. Perhaps the visitors arrived late. Mr. Kulkarni responded sleepily. Please sleep and let me sleep, dear. Now, Mr. Kulkarni kind of sounds like me because sleep is very important to me. So I would react in the same kind of way.
But your wife's worried. You
Yeah, but then he also
support
has
her.
a lot to do in the morning.
Yeah, I get that.
They traveled so far.
Yeah.
Okay, we're taking sides and it is not being productive, but
Yeah.
anyways. Mrs. Kulkarni considered her husband's opinion for a while. And to her it seemed a likely explanation for the late night party. This was also a matter of worry. Her husband and she were modest people, not at all the party going types.
Just like us.
Yeah, same. I would much rather be inside with like a Netflix film, not a Netflix film, but some kind of a film and popcorn and had never touched alcohol in their lives. Good.
Oh.
This place still seems under the British influence, though most of the British left the country 10 years ago. Maybe some still live here around this place.
Maybe.
She lay in her bed, wide awake, reflecting. Lost in these thoughts, she began to drift into sleep. The sounds continued for a while. She had no idea for how long, and then slowly began to fade. Mrs. Kulkarni finally fell into a deep rested sleep. Next morning was unlike the previous one. Cobalt sky and cheerful sunshine welcomed the residents. How did I write that so wrong? Kulkarnis were up early, tired and drained. The cottage didn't appear as cheerful as it had the previous day. There was an eerie sadness floating and filling the space. After the morning chores and the puja, the couple headed towards the main building. They wanted to eat their breakfast in the hostel mess, for they did not want to burden my mother. But Ma insisted that they should lunch with them, and they humbly accepted her invitation. Her mom is so kind. I am so touched.
Love her.
Yeah. After breakfast, Mr. Kulkarni joined Pa in the office. Mrs. Kulkarni did not go back to the cottage. Her sixth sense was dissuading her from being there alone. The spectre that she had seen momentarily last night was still unnerving her, though she was still confused whether it was real or just her misgiving. So she whiled away her morning by strolling in the terraced gardens around the main building. Ma had been very busy since the morning as we were to leave for our new destination the next day. She had once peeped through the window and seen Mrs. Kulkarni sitting alone in the garden, looking lost. Since her packing was more or less over, Ma walked down to spend some time with the lady. She also arranged for 2 cups of tea to be sent to them. Mrs. Kulkarni was too happy to have company. The ladies fell into normal chit-chat about their families. Tea arrived. Mrs. Kulkarni took a sip of the hot beverage and then kept the cup on the table. She hesitated and then raised the topic of the late night party to which she hadn't been invited. How was last night's party, Mrs. Sharma? Is it customary to give late night parties here? No. What party are you talking about?
Yeah.
Ma stared at her, puzzled. Perhaps the students had had a party last night. Ma frowned and shook her head. She had been staying here for over a year and had no knowledge about any such activity having taken place the previous night, or for that matter, any other night, at least not since she had been here.
Oh.
Mrs. Kulkarni, there has never been any late night parties within the premises of this institute.
I knew this was gonna happen.
My husband is not the type to arrange or even allow such parties. Seeing a mystified expression on her face, Ma continued, Wildflower Hall was a hotel once, when British ruled over us. They used to have parties here, enjoying life at the expense of us native Indians. But that's all over now. Mrs. Kulkarni had gone pale.
I would go pale too.
She even shivered beneath her jumper and shawl. Ma continued, though we do have formal get-togethers to celebrate festivals, Holi, Diwali, or evening high teas for the guests once in a while, nothing more than that. Never. Yesterday night there wasn't any party, neither at evening nor at night. Ma settled Mrs. Kulkarni's doubt with finality and took a few sips of tea.
Mrs. Kulkarni stared at Ma with anxiety bordering on her fear. Sorry. Ma was unable to understand what was the matter with her. Was she somewhat crazy? Oh, no. There was complete silence for a while. Ma noted her whipping beads of sweat that had collected on her temples and wondered why she was so worked up. The staff and students have arranged for a farewell party for us leaving in the evening. And of course, you both will be our special guests. Ma tried cheering her up. That won't help, Ma.
That won't help, yes.
That didn't help in easing Mrs. Kulkarni's anxiety.
We called that out.
Yeah. Ma watched her, looking around dazed, her eyes wide with fright. Then her eyes came to rest on the huge oak tree growing close to the bedroom window of the cottage. It was a massive tree, had presumably been there for centuries. She turned back to Ma. Mrs. Kulkarni, there was definitely a party yesterday night. How?
How?
She assured rather fervently, I don't know. Now, there were lots of sounds of clattering of crockery, clinking of glasses, and foreigners calling out to waiters to serve them. Bera chai lao. I very clearly heard someone ordering. There was also music and dance, and there was also a woman called Daphne. I clearly heard this all happening last night. There is no question of being confused. It was Ma's turn to stare at Mrs. Kulkarni, dumbfounded. Yeah.
Oh, there's some history with the names.
Yeah. What was she blabbering about? Party outside in the middle of the night and English people? Where do you think the party was held? Ma asked her softly, now obviously a little anxious. She once again regarded the old oak tree, Her eyes narrowed. She appeared confused and distressed, turning towards the building as if she tried to make up her mind. She finally concluded it was somewhere around the large tree, that one close to the cottage's bedroom window.
Hmm.
But then, why would anyone have a party outside the cottage? That doesn't make sense. Hmm. She turned towards Ma with solid conviction. It must be outside the main building then. Ma,
She's so convinced.
yeah, Ma was getting irritated by her at her persistence. I am getting irritated too.
Yeah, same.
I mean, she has been there longer.
Yeah, so you should just listen to
Yeah.
her and maybe think about, something
Yeah.
that's going on in your brain.
Mrs. Kulkarni, just think who would arrange for a party in the lawns on a cold night? Wouldn't it be practical to have an indoor party? Yeah. That's such a good point.
Yeah.
We have a big and delightful dining hall for this purpose. It was once meant for ballroom dancing for the British. She added with the vehemence. Besides, do you see any signs of any party here or near the tree?
Why?
Yeah.
My Hindi.
Yeah.
Just,
The lady was stumped. Mrs. Kulkarni, your tea has gone cold.
हाँ
Just-
पहले चाय पी ले.
Just drink the tea.
Yeah.
Let me
Stop
go.
talking.
Yeah. You are irritating
Yeah,
me.
you are so irritating.
Let me go and order a fresh one. A fresh cup of tea for you. Ma.
I mean, you
She's
can.
too kind.
Yeah, but you can drink the old tea.
Yeah.
Servants are not meant to just always make fresh teas for you because you were idiotic enough to not finish it in time. That is,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like that's a little insensitive.
Yeah, she's good. No, please no. Don't go. She pleaded and shivered. I even saw a woman in the cottage in the middle of the night. She stood at the bathroom door and then was gone. Her voice trailed away. She anxiously looked at Ma to see her reaction. Ma gasped and then decided there was no point discussing such things. She felt pity for the lady who was clearly delusional. It was all a figment of her imagination through Nandi's spooky experience too, hovered at the back of Ma's mind. Yeah. She then changed the topic. Make sure you have warm clothes, Mrs. Kulkarni. Thick overcoats and woolen scarves.
Now I like the meaning of the title of the story, The Unfinished Party.
Yeah, that just hit me.
Anyways,
Wow.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, where was I? Winters here are quite severe. Not receiving any response, she continued. We can meet in Shimla one day and I can help you shop for the winter essentials. Mrs. Kulkarni nodded mildly.
She's not interested in shopping or any kind of anything else. Yeah.
She's just.
Interested in this
Party.
unfinished party.
But summers are beautiful here. Putting her empty teacup on the table, Ma declared. And in this season, you'll also find good cheese growing on the slopes. I don't know what that is. There
Must
are
be some kind of
yeah.
fruit. Maybe?
they are the most expensive mushrooms.
Oh.
You know, as costly as silver.
Are they? Oh my god.
I mean, it was years ago. So
maybe it's more expensive
Yeah.
now.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or maybe the price has decreased.
Yeah, we just have conversations on the most weirdest. That wasn't correct grammar.
Oh, yeah.
Weirdest things ever. Anyways, continue.
She laughed to ease the tension, but realized that Mrs. Kulkarni wasn't listening.
She was not.
She was continuously
Turning the page of the book.
and anxiously surveying the surroundings. You're not
Oh.
gonna find anything.
She's
Mrs.
in
Kulkarni.
like full investigative mode at this point.
Like a detective.
Yeah, she's going to find something. I'm so sure of
Yeah.
it.
After spending half an hour with her, when Ma left to go back to her work, the ladies was staring at the old oak, utterly,
That tree seems to spook
Yeah.
her a lot.
utterly confounded. And an hour later, when they were together for lunch, Mrs. Kulkarni once again broached the subject of the previous night's party. My God. Mr. Kulkarni seconded her report of the events. Okay.
Now we're talking. Now Ma would be like, oh, maybe they're both delusional.
Kinda possible. Yeah, he had been very tired and sleepy. A few things had disturbed him. Firstly, it was my wife stroking my face and waking me up from my deep sleep.
That incident
Ah.
seems to be very frustrating
Yeah.
for him.
As if we were on a honeymoon. He coughed. And then she kept tugging at my blanket. He turned to smile at his wife. What had come upon you last night, honey? You never ever did that before, not even when we were newly married.
Oh, this woman ghost has a crush on Mr. Kulkarni.
His wife stared at him blankly, baffled and scared and embarrassed at his flagrant flaws.
Yeah, I mean, why is he talking like that?
What are you saying, dear? I never touched you or your blanket last night. I didn't even come near your bed, not even once. She then drew in her breath. The night scene played on her mind yet again. The appreciation of a woman at the bathroom door staring at her. There was a third unknown presence in the room. She was sure now. Yeah, I'm sure too.
Yeah.
Though she had a vision of spectre in her room, she now assumed that talking about it might fetch her ridicule. Except for Ma, nobody understood why she suddenly looked terribly startled. Mr. Kulkarni frowned at her reaction, but then went on, and then there was the party going on next to the cottage. People talking and other sounds. It was Pa's turn to be surprised. Yeah. I am actually curious about his reaction.
Yeah, I'm also curious about his reaction.
He had no information about any party having been held last night. And within the premises of the institute without his knowledge,
He's like
Yes.
a big shot. So
he proceeded with immediate investigations.
oh, he's like nothing goes on this property without my knowledge.
Who would be a better person to begin the inquiry with than the night guard Jharku?
Jharku.
Jharku is
I love-
Pa's trusted man.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Jharku for
Yeah.
some reason. He seems like a hero to me.
Yeah.
I have no idea why I feel that. But yeah.
Yeah. Jharku made a spontaneous appearance. At Pa's question regarding the party, he did not appear baffled.
Oh.
Through his deepening scowl revealed his worry. There was no party, Sahib. What Sahib heard must have been the usual mysterious sounds.
Maybe Jharku has heard these sounds
I
before.
think
That
so.
is why he is not as baffled as the others.
What mysterious sounds? Pa looked mystified. But he was not buying Jharku's explanation hands down. Of course he's not.
He's such a skeptic. Pa is such a skeptic.
Mr. and Mrs. Kulkarni heard sounds of a party going on outside. Who was holding the party? He repeated, demanding an immediate explanation. It's not gonna be like that.
So
You need to wait. No one, Sahib. Charko insisted and then turned towards Mr. Kulkarni. Sahib, can you tell where the sound seemed to be coming from?
The big old tree near the oak tree.
According to Mrs. Kulkarni. Were they ca- were they coming from close to the large oak tree growing outside the cottage? Mr. Kulkarni didn't answer. He was apparently unsure. Yeah, he was sleeping. So
Yeah, he was unsure. Mrs. Kulkarni would answer straight away.
yeah, Mrs. Kulkarni seemed relieved. Ah,
Someone believes her.
Yeah.
Someone believes her.
she smiled and nodded promptly and vigorously. A few sounds came from close to the large tree next to our bedroom window. She has been saying that.
Since the beginning.
Okay. Others were distant. Then she looked at Ma. I don't know the word. I told you so, Mrs. Sharma, didn't I?
Now she's like getting back at Ma.
Sahib, I too have heard such sounds on a few occasions. They once came in a while from around the oak tree. Music too. And English people speaking in the beginning. Once I went near the oak tree to check what was going on. There was nothing, no one. But what Jharkhand? Pa sounded nervous. Sahib, someone unseen pushed me and said, "You need to hear this. Get out."
Oh no, I
Now-
hate this.
Now everyone was staring at Jharku uneasily. That's why I prefer to stay in the veranda of the main building and seldom venture beyond it. Never in the direction of the cottage at night. And my lantern is a big solace. Ghosts, yeah. Want to say?
No.
Ghosts are afraid of the fire, I think. Mrs. Kulkarni's jaw fell open. She was visibly trembling. Mr. Kulkarni had discernibly
Discremently.
paled. Jharku noted none and continued. I want to warn you about it. Sahib, when the arrangements were being made for Miss Kulkarni Sahib's stay in the cottage, many people have experienced strange things. Their mysterious encounters.
Yeah, in the
They,
beginning.
they hid it from you, thinking you wouldn't believe. Like you didn't believe Nandi Sahib and Balhab. There was a
Beginning.
nerve-wracking silence in the room now. Jharku hesitated and then said, Sahib, I have heard that now. Oh, I heard that this building used to be for the parties of the Gora Sahibs.
Gora Sahibs, okay.
Yeah.
Gora translates to white.
Yeah.
So white people. So the Englishmen.
Britishers. Pa nodded gently and wondered, had they also buried the dead here
No, that
under
would,
the old oak?
that would explain everything.
Thereafter, Mr. and Mrs. Kulkarni blandly refused to go anywhere near the cottage. The brave team of Jharku, Vishnu, and a few others brought their luggage to the main building, thank God.
Thank God, yeah.
The cottage was locked and made a redundant. Despite just a day-old acquaintance, Mr. Kulkarni Mrs. Kulkarni seemed the saddest to see us leave the next day.
Yeah,
Aww.
they're leaving.
She hugged Ma with tears streaming down her cheeks.
She got so attached in a matter of 2 days.
Yeah. Nearly 2 months later, Pa received an urgent letter from Mr. Kulkarni.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my
He
god.
had sought his immediate transfer back to Delhi.
Oh,
His
no.
wife had fallen seriously ill.
Oh shoot.
The doctors had diagnosed it as severe depression and mental disturbance.
Oh no.
She had been advised an immediate change of location.
Oh no.
Whatever was there spooked her for her life.
Yeah. My god, the strange appearances would have continued, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my
The
god.
ghost wouldn't leave
Yeah.
Mrs. Kulkarni now.
Yeah, oh my goodness. I am just so worried about her now. And I feel so sad because she was so excited to be in the hills and it was basically perfect for her. And
It
now
was a kind of like a dream vacation.
yeah, and now it was all ruined by these idiotic ghosts. So yeah, they didn't let us live while they were alive and not even after they were dead.
Yeah.
A bit political, but yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, hope you enjoyed this story. Finally, we were at the end of our third story, right?
Yeah, it ended.
Yeah,
It's the ending.
third story of this from this book called The Ghosts of the Silent Hills. What an amazing book. I cannot
The third
wait.
one also they left it in a cliffhanger.
Kind of like a cliffhanger. I cannot
I
wait to
mean-
see what happens in the next story. Anita Krishan, you are an excellent writer.
I love you.
Yeah, we love you. So let's continue on our spooky ride with two more short stories. And yeah, this story, I'm not gonna say the title. When hospital orderly, Alan Shavery was called in for questioning by Chicago police in 1977, he knew what it was about, or rather, whom it was about. Teresita Basa had also worked at Edgewater Hospital, and early in 1976, Shavri had gone to her apartment and stabbed her to death before setting her on fire.
My god, what a start.
Yeah. He was hoping the police didn't know anything. They knew everything. Teresita, the woman he murdered, had told them. Earlier in 1977, respiratory technician Remy Chua, who had worked with Teresita but not known her well, saw the dead woman loitering about the hospital employees' lounge. Soon thereafter, a distinct change came over Remy. She started displaying strange mannerisms and following routines that were not her own. She became distinct, sometimes seeming to almost be in a trance. She would sing songs she didn't know, then deny singing them or even saying anything. The strange events grew worse until one day when Remy fell back on her bed and spoke to her family in Teresita's voice.
My god.
Remy's husband, Joe, was a doctor and Teresita mainly addressed him, begging him to go to the police. She had plenty of information. She named Shavery and had Joe write down various items he had stolen from her apartment, and the names and phone numbers of relatives who could confirm that the items were hers. All the police were understandably skeptical. They brought Shavery in and watched his alibi crumble as Teresita's relatives pointed her valuables, which police had indeed found in Shavery's home. He subsequently confessed and was convicted of her murder. Remy Chua has never had another such experience. Despite the accuracy of her information and the case's appearance on Unsolved Mysteries in 1996, no one has ever been able to explain how it happened or why it happened to her.
My God.
Oh my god. We have a picture of Teresita.
Oh.
She is so cute. We'll put that up on our Instagram and YouTube. You can see it.
You do it.
Yeah. Anyways, oh my gosh.
Oh my
Oh, this is scary, but again, this was so necessary that it happened because I don't know how he got away from the murder in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why there wasn't any inquiry held before, and she had to like literally come back as a ghost to prove that she was murdered. I think police during that era were just not that vigilant, and we've had such stories multiple times.
Multiple times.
Yeah, so we understand that, but anyways, I just feel like such reckless behavior should not continue in the future.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
is bashing the police.
Yeah, I am. Anyways, yeah, oh my gosh, Karesita Han, I am just so
Just
oh my goodness.
The Hellbound Heart.
Oh, very
On
interesting.
On March 16, 1995, Terry Cottle shot and killed himself in the bathroom of the home he shared with his wife Cheryl.
Oh my god.
There had been arguments. Okay. There had always been arguments, and Terry had threatened himself with a gun just months before. Cheryl heard the shot from the other side of the room after watching her husband enter the bathroom with a 22. I don't know.
Yeah,
She heard him gasp, "Help me, I am dying." And then he was gone. He'd fire a single round into his brain. The only possible silver lining was that Terry, 33, had been in good physical condition and an organ donor. Terry's heart saved the life of 57-year-old Sonny Graham, who had contracted an incurable virus of the heart a year earlier. In 1996, Sonny wrote a letter of appreciation to Terry's widow, and through the donor procurement agency had advised against contact. They decided to meet,
Oh.
and when they did, Sonny fell instantly in love with the widow of the man whose heart now beat in his chest. I felt like I had known her for years. I couldn't keep my eyes off her. Sonny told a newspaper in 2006. They were both married at the same time, but within a few years both had divorced, and they moved in together in 2001. It was a rocky relationship, just like Cheryl and Terry's had been, but they eventually married in 2004.
What are they doing? Like
Yeah.
marrying, unmarrying.
4 years later, with no indication that anything was seriously amiss, Sony's life ended the same way Terry's did.
No way.
Suicide by gunshot. The heart that had beat on for 12 years of borrowed time stopped beating for good.
Oh. Stopped beating for
For good.
good. Because no one else would
Yeah.
die like that. Oh my gosh, that was.
He seemed fine.
something is wrong with the heart.
Or maybe his ghost killed him.
I have I have so many things
Questions.
questions and things running in my mind. So one, either some entity came over Terry, which killed him, and probably the same entity came over the other Sony. And then secondly, what if Terry
Is Sony.
What I was going to say is, what if Terry now knows that Sony has been dating or marrying his former wife?
He's coming for a revenge. Yeah.
I don't know. That seems unlikely, but that's just another theory.
We just go too far sometimes.
Yeah. So if you have your theories, let us know on YouTube in the comments down below, and for the audio listeners, we're going to put something up on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Make sure that you tune in if our internet works by then, which again it seems a little bit unlikely. Anyways, oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
This was so mind-boggling.
Yeah.
We haven't had a story like that in a while.
Yeah.
Which makes us think. Whew. So guys, we have some sad news. We don't have a gag joke. I don't know if I'm sad or happy.
I'm sad.
I am happy. Because obviously our internet has been down, so we couldn't find one. Thank God that we found the stories in time, and I'm so glad that you forgot the gag jokes.
No, I'm not glad.
I am glad.
No, I'm not.
So we'll just leave you on that note. Again, thank you so much for listening to us. It's really means a lot to us. You have no idea. It means the absolute word.
Yeah.
And if you have been hit by the cyclone, please stay safe. And there's another cyclone.
Hopefully you have internet.
Yeah, hopefully you have internet. That's better than us. There's another cyclone that is going to hit Bay of Bengal.
Yeah, I don't know
the name. So the people living in the Kolkata area, please stay safe
and stay indoors.
Yeah, stay indoors. And thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in our next episode with a new story and some gag jokes.
Hopefully.
I think I am giving you the freedom to have more than 5. If you want. Yeah, if you want. Because since you had none in this one, it's your call. You seem exactly.
Let's see if I can find that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Love you.